about a year, and yeah, it's basically a music-based media company. So it was kind of originally going to be sort of a film photography company, but the more involved with music I got, the more I realised that that's really the way I wanted to go, and I wanted to stick to band-based media and putting on events for people. And so we've kind of accidentally morphed into an events company as well, actually, now. So it's kind of taken its own... taking it upon itself. It's grown a life
of its own.
Yeah, really, it has. Yeah. But yeah, so we do photography. I put on events, mostly obviously music events. I also manage a band called Captain Flatcap, so we do quite a lot of sort of band management-y stuff in the company.
Well, tell us a bit. I mean, you mentioned Captain Flatcap earlier on. Tell us a little bit about him. I guess it's a guy. Is it just one person, or is it a band? Yeah?
Well, there's three of them. I mean, the main guy, Chris, DJs under the name Captain Flatcap as well. He does a show on another radio station, which I won't mention because that would be mean.
Is there another radio station?
No, Garrison's the only one.
He's the only
obviously.
One in the area.
But he's kind of the front man. He's the one that wears the flat cap.
Right.
It's him and his brother Tom and a guy called Gaz, and they're an electro swing band, basically.
Interesting.
So he mixes tracks and makes tracks, and then they play and write over them. So they've got, Chris plays a mixture of guitar, flute, and mandolin during various songs, and Tom, his brother, plays trumpet and he plays guitar. Gaz is on a cajon with sort of a hi-hat cymbal and stuff like that as well. And yeah, really
multi-instrumentalists.
Yeah, they're fantastic musicians. They really are.
So they're local to this area?
Yeah, Guildford based. I was over the moon when they asked me to manage them. We've actually got a launch party. They've got their first single coming out on the 26th of August, and we've got a launch party for them on the 8th of September at the Stoke pub in Guildford.
Okay, yeah.
We'll be around by the pool table sort of area. We've got that area reserved. So if you want to check them out and get your hands on limited edition copies of their track, come down.
Have they got a website?
They haven't actually got a website. They've got a Facebook page, and there's a SoundCloud page that you can access through the Facebook page. It's under Chris Rotherham rather than Captain Flatcap at the moment. We're still sort of developing them at the moment, and website will come, trying to convince them that they want one. They're not sure. They do.
Everybody these days needs a website, don't
exactly.
they? You can't really do anything with that. Do you think we could, convince them to come in here and maybe play some songs for us in the late autumn?
Yeah, well, yeah. Definitely, definitely. I'm sure they would be up for that. I mean, it's quite complex because obviously it's mixed tracks as well, and then they play too. So there's quite a lot of equipment involved with Captain Flatcap.
Yeah. We only have a small studio.
I mean, I don't think an acoustic sort of stripped down version would really work with them because it's quite dancey. It's sort of electro swing.
Okay, well, we might have to sort of cut down on the instrumentation a little bit, but I'm sure we could work something. But anyway, we're here this evening to talk about you, not to talk about them, and to get you to play us some of your music. So the first song you're going to sing for us is called Just a Warning. Tell us a little bit about the background to it.
Did
somebody upset you?
Well, it's basically about a friend of mine who's sort of chosen an alternative kind of lifestyle and is all happy and bubbly and having a wonderful time apparently, and I'm just not convinced he's all that realistic about it. And it's kind of about that because I delved into that sort of lifestyle as well, sort of once upon a time, and it landed me in not a very good place, really. Yeah. So it's kind of it's come from me being worried about a friend of mine because of like the way he's going, and it's kind of a warning about that, and I don't want what happened to me to sort of happen to him.
To happen to him. No,
it's quite a deep one, to be honest.
Musician, entrepreneur and songwriter Wizzi is here in the studio, and she was just playing a song called Just a Warning. I think it's brilliant. We get a lot of bands come into the studio and they spend hours tuning up. She walks in, boom, there it is, guitar's tuned, and off she goes. So well done. Did the guy you wrote the song about, did he see the light? Did he actually, benefit from the song?
He hasn't yet. And I don't think he knows that's about him, actually. So.
You'll have to just sort of send it to him, record it. You thought you might like to listen to this. Might make
quite funny, actually. He comes to my open mic night quite a lot, and I think that's one of the ones that he actually sings along to. I find it really funny.
Does backing vocals on it. Something like that. You were saying earlier on that you were at GuilFest this year in the acoustic stage. So what sort of stuff did you do there? Obviously acoustic music, but did you have you had some other musicians with you?
I had sort of a full band for GuilFest, and hopefully we're going to be starting to do some recording. Chris, one of the guys in Captain Flatcap, plays flute flute and guitar, like a mixture of the two, depending on which song, with me. And he does open mic with me as well and often plays along. And then we kind of bagged ourselves a drummer and a bassist as well, because we thought, when GuilFest asked me to play, they said, how many are in your band? And I sort of thought, well, there's me, and then there could be Chris, and then, well, like 4. There are 4 of us. And then I was like, let's get a bassist and a drummer and see how that sounds. And yeah, it was good. I really, really liked playing with a full band, actually. It was kind of the first proper gig we did all together. Unfortunately, the bassist's now gone back up to Suffolk, where he's sort of originally from.
Oh, I'm sure you can. You say you bagged a bassist, and so how do you just do that? Is it people that you know, or do people come up and say, "Hey, can I play with the band," or what?
Well, those two were actually there were 3 of them, and they're all from Suffolk, and they came down and formed a band called the Topless Barmaids. Mm-hmm. And they headlined a few of my open mic nights. I got them to come back again and again because they were really good. They were just really tight. They'd obviously rehearsed everything really well, and much more than I ever rehearsed. They put me to shame, really. And, then Phil, who was their singer, kind of went away. And I was talking to them about, looking for drummers and bassists and stuff, because we all sort of became friends anyway. And they were like, well, we could play for you. I was like, could you? I felt kind of bad. I felt like I was kind of stealing them from Phil, and they were like, bah, no, we don't belong to Phil. So yeah, we had a few rehearsals and it went really well, and yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, we're going to play another song in a sec, and perhaps after the song, the one thing that inspires me, fascinates me, is the fact that you had the initiative to actually begin a business. Now, that isn't easy. We won't talk about it just yet. So now you're going to sing another song for us that you sang for us when you came in on, was it April the 3rd we decided?
Yeah, I think so.
Called Just a Butterfly. Now, I've heard this song a couple of times, and it is really, really good. I'd like to hear this with the full band as well. That would be quite good. We'd have to get you back with the band.
Yeah, I should have brought Chris along, really. I didn't really plan tonight very much, but Chris has written some really beautiful flute parts to it, and I much prefer it now when he's playing along to it, because it kind of gives it another element as well.
Have you got a name for the band? I mean, do you go out and
no.
we could run a competition here on Garrison, couldn't we? Name that band.
Name that band. We need to find a new bassist first, actually.
Oh, I'm sure there's bassists listening out there. Look, if you're a bassist and you're listening in the sort of Farnborough, Aldershot, Guildford sort of area, then send in a little note to me, Ken Wilkinson, on GarrisonFM, and we'll find Wizzi a bassist. I'm sure there's loads of you. They'll be queuing up.
They have to like kind of slightly depressing music, as you probably tell. Most of my music's a bit sad.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty of people that like sad songs, and sad songs are great to listen to in your room and stuff, aren't they, late at night? So late night music's got a huge audience. Anyway, Goodbye Butterfly. This is Wizzi.
Like a full sunset to the breeze.
first single.
So
there we
go. A
go.
few people have said that, actually.
Yeah, well, it's a nice song, and it's unusual. There was a guy we had in the studio a few weeks ago called Andy Prince. He used to be with Sham 69.
Andy Prince and Anthony Needs.
Yeah, they're fantastic, aren't they? But Andy, they both impressed me. But Andy impressed me because he plays bass almost like a lead guitar, and it was so strong.
He does, yeah. They played. I booked them for one of my coverless events that I run a few months ago. They were brilliant, really good.
They are good.
And he has a really
people,
sexy bass as well. I love his guitar.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's really good. If I could play an instrument, it would be the bass and backing vocals. That would be me. Now, talking of coverless, you're a young lady. Certainly from where I'm standing, and I admire the fact that you, I guess, left school 3, 4, 5 years ago, something like that. Yeah.
When did I leave school? Well, after school, I went to college. I must have left college in 2007, 2008.
Right. Okay. So sort of doing the maths, about 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. Well, I'm just coming up 23 now, so. Yeah. I don't mind saying
that. Next Monday. Yeah,
next Monday.
Hey, birthday party. But, you've started your own business. Now, did you do business studies when you were at school or college?
Nope.
Oh, really? So you just jumped in and thought you'd do it?
My dad was sort of very business-minded, and I think I've got the business mind from my dad, really. And I kind of, when I first started I started a company before WIZmedia, another sort of film company, because I knew it was very difficult to get jobs in the film and media industry. I knew there was an awful lot of competition, and I kind of thought, well, why don't I just set up my own company and provide myself with a job? I think at the time I wasn't quite aware of just how much work it is, but because it's hard. But that's kind of where it started. I just thought, well, why don't I not bother going the normal route? I'll try this out instead. And
we were talking off mic just before you began playing for us this evening, and a lot of young people think, okay, I'll apply for a job, and then they sit back and think, I've not heard anything.
Yeah, and they wonder why they haven't got a phone
you were
call.
giving some very sound advice there. So what would anybody listening tonight, what would you say? You apply for loads of jobs, and just see what happens. But
follow them up. Follow them up. You can send out 20 CVs, pick your favourite 5, or actually send out 20 CVs. A few days later, phone them up. And if they sort of fob you off, give it a couple of days, find out who the manager is of that place, say, can I speak to this person? It's about getting a dialogue with the people.
Yeah, that's the important thing, isn't it?
No one's
Not
got
just phoning
time
in
to sift through paperwork, and it's about kind of making yourself memorable. So you send in a CV, then follow it up with a phone call, then maybe even go in. I actually learnt that at uni. That's what, they told us at uni that's how you need to do it.
What about the paperwork? I mean, it's got to look good. And I mean, a mistake that I've known a lot of young people, I've worked in education for years, a lot of young people, bash out a CV, peppered with spelling mistakes and all sorts of things.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be checked, it's got to be correct, because people will, make decisions based on that, and they'll just discard anything. So if you
they'll think you're daft if you
get
put
someone
stuff
to check
in.
it.
Yeah.
Right, now I'm looking at the clock behind you now. We haven't got a lot of time left, so I'm going to ask you to go into your third and final song, which is called Crash. Tell us a little bit about Crash, just briefly.
It's another pretty dark one. Can you see a theme here? And Crash is about, I said that I kind of adopted a lifestyle that my friend has now adopted, that I'm now worried about, kind of hippie lifestyle, basically.
Okay.
Living in trees and on hippie camps and things like that.
Sounds like a tree.
Crash is about when I crashed, basically, when I had sort of a bit of a breakdown, sort of 3 years ago, just before I kind of decided to stuff this. I'm going to sort myself out, start a business, get into music, and do all the things I'm doing now. Crash is about that, basically. It's about crashing, and I don't know what else to say about it.
No, it's great. I mean, you did the right thing. You thought, right, well, I'll just do it for myself, and I'll make it happen. And
I think you have to make things happen for yourself. No one else is going to. No.
Okay, so this is Wizzi and a song called Crash.
With our feet we'd glide, I spend our time off our hands and The good and great, the great and big, the big and bad, out of bounds, we stopped one day, and I crashed to the ground. Ooh, 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 out on that. Ooh, yeah, sinking in sand. The time we spent in flashing lights, the rain haze, we spend our days twisting things to the base. The good and great, the great and big, the big and bad, out of bounds, we stopped one day, and I crashed to the ground. Ooh, out on that. Ooh, yeah. Sinking in sand, yeah, till it stops. The smoke, the coke, the herbal attack made us float. The world would slide through broken eyes, losing sight, bending minds. The good and great, the great and big, the big and bad, out of hand. The good and great, the great and big, the big and bad, out of hand. The good and great, the great and big, the big and bad, out of hand. We stopped one day, stopped one day, stopped one day, and I crashed to the ground, lost in the sound, out of that, vacant and bad, sinking in sand, the madness of man, until it stopped. Thank you.
Wizzi, thank you so much. Good song, and a great bit of advice for everybody. You know, if you're sort of thinking, well, you know, nobody's getting back to me, then do something yourself and format. Wizzi, you got another cover list thing happening soon? Was it last
Yeah.
night there was one?
Yeah, the next cover list is basically the original showcase night for local musicians. It's called Cover List because it's no covers. So it's for
Right.
people to, particularly local people, to come out and get their own songs out. That's what it's about. And our 8th show is coming up on the 28th of September at the Stoke.
Yeah. And where about, we know the Stoke's in Guildford. Whereabouts in Guildford?
It's on Stoke Road. I think it's 103 Stoke Road.
Okay, is that just down from the Tech? Am I thinking the right area?
It's near the college. If you go sort of towards town from Guildford College, it's just down there. It's literally on Stoke
Just
Road.
up on the
It's
right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on the corner. It's opposite another pub. And you can't really miss it. It's sort of a big white building just past the traffic lights from the bridge. Yeah, you can find it. If you want to find Coverless or find out where the Stoke is, you can find it on Facebook as a group called Coverless. Or you can find it through my company page, which is just WIZmedia.
Fantastic. Okay.
1Z.
So no .com or anything like that, just WIZmedia?
I've got .tv, but the website is currently under construction. I'm trying to find the right hosting deal, basically.
Oh, I'm sure somebody out there can do this for you.
We're sorting that out next week.
Right, and also just a quick plug for Captain Flatcap, 8th of September, also at the Stoke, I believe. You said. And they've got their first single coming out on the 26th of August. Where can we get that?
You can get that on iTunes. You'll be able to download it off iTunes, and you'll be able to get a limited. We're not releasing it officially onto disc yet.
Yeah.
It's just on the electronic electronic
Thing.
single release, basically.
Yeah.
So it'll be on iTunes, and you'll be able to get that through finding them on Facebook as well, or just on iTunes. And if you come down to the launch party, which is the 8th, it's free. We're going to do sort of donations things if people want to donate to the EP that we're thinking about making. Not thinking about making, planning. Doing. That's what the launch party is kind of about. So, and you can get your hands on sort of limited edition copies of their first single, which we will have there.
Hey, thank you so much for coming in and playing some songs
Thank
for
you
us
for having
tonight.
me.
And next time we want the flautist with you, the bassist and the percussion. We want the whole works here in the studio. Wizzi, thank you so much for popping into Garrison on this Thursday night.
Thank you very much.
Queen Ethelburgers.